Success is a series of small victories. Welcome everybody to Unacademy and welcome to the session. So in today's Toppers Talk, we have with us Satya Prakash Mishra. He is rank 3 of OMAS. So we have you in our session. For the second time, upon our session question, thank you so much for coming here. And upon Odisha rete top level executive re kama karuchanti. So आपनको ये सेशन द्वारा मैं चाहूँ कि आपण ओडिसा रे जो एस्पिरेंट्स अछंती ताको गाइड करंतु कि हाउ कैन दे प्रिपेयर देमसेल्व्स बेटर समस्तंकर एस्पिरेशन थाय कि गवर्नमेंट जॉब को जिबे दे वांट टू सिक्योर देयर फ्यूचर एंड दे वांट टू मेक देयर प्रिपरेशन बेटर ठीक अछि त आपण टिके हमको एतरे गाइड करबे आज सर सो हमें फर्स्ट जानिबा टिके आपण को सर कैन यू प्लीज इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ इन अ फ्यू लाइंस
Well, as you said, my name is Satya Prakash Mishra. I've been born and brought up here in Bhubaneswar. I did my graduation from College of Engineering and Technology, Bhubaneswar, in the field of civil engineering. I have done my schooling from Demonstration Multipurpose School, DM School, which comes under the Regional Institute of Education, RIE, which is a body under the NCERT. Okay. So there are essentially 4 DM schools in the entire country.
Yes. Okay.
One each at Bhubaneswar, Bhopal, Mysore, and Ajmer.
Okay.
So that's, I think, a brief introduction.
Okay, sir. As we saw you, like as you said, upon kara our achievement be rahi ki you have qualified for UPSC, and this time you have given your interview also. So, sir. Few things I will ask you about the things. The first is that upon ko optional confila. What was the optional in your UPSC preparation?
My optional was sociology.
Sociology. How to go about sociology? A lot of ambiguity is there. How to tackle the optional subject? So can you please guide? Some valuable guidance from you, sir.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that sociology is a very interesting subject, and people fetch quite a lot of marks by taking sociology optional. I myself have secured 137 marks in paper 1 of sociology and 119 marks, 119 in paper 2, and in total whatever it is, around 256 or 260, I haven't computed, but that was around the average score this time. So I think I'm in a position to tell you something about how to go about preparing for sociology.
Yes, sir.
The first paper is entirely theory. The second paper is Indian sociology, Indian society, not sociology, Indian society. In the first paper, you get all theoretical questions. And to prepare which, we should choose Haralambos and Holborn or Haralambos and Heald, which is the foundational book in which almost all the subjects covered in paper 1 are available. We can supplement that with the IGNOU materials and some portions from some notes, some books. That's again optional. That depends. It varies from candidate to candidate.
So,
for paper 2, you can refer to material. Yes.
Jemti upon coaching nahi naati upon kale ki you have not gone to big coachings like in Delhi or somewhat like that. Upon nije hi pura preparation karchanti, and then also you managed to get a good score. So obviously itire mane ki there is a lead here, there is a trail ki joda ko follow karike na the people can get good marks also. That is even possible. So अपन जो बही करले Haralambos and Shield and otherwise जो notes अच्छी से सबको को follow करके ना they can do it.
Oh yes, without any sort of a coaching in sociology or in general studies whatsoever, I could manage to get around 256 marks in sociology. And anything above 250 is considered average, at least for this year. This year, the average for optionals has been around 260. So 256 is a decent score. And if that's possible on my part, I think that's possible on anyone's part, given they do whatever I did, or they do it similarly. You need to follow some basic books with a thumb rule, one topic from one source. Don't go for multiple sources. Don't make it too complicated. Research karibar nahi kouthre, PhD karibar nahi. Just need to know enough to be able to write 300 words. That's it.
Okay. Sir, previous year papers रो कौन relevance था in the optional papers? मैंने previous year paper को करीबा का था. से questions कौन repeat हुए कि actually?
Yes, because what happens is, especially first paper, especially in paper 1, because theoretical questions are being asked. So after a few years, the question setter will himself or herself run out of questions. So the same areas which are there in the syllabus, the same areas remain the focus areas year after year, and questions are bound to get repeated. Questions are bound to get repeated. The same, even though the questions may not be in the same phraseology, but the same questions can be framed with a different phraseology, but the questions do get more or less repeated. The essence of the question remains the same. I mean, the answer shall remain the same, at least, despite there being two different questions with different phraseology.
Okay.
Same areas of questions are same. Sometimes even same questions also get repeated. Exactly, same wording, so the same phraseology, so the same questions also get repeated. Paper 1, this is true. Paper 2, because that's on Indian society, and Indian society is evolving. So new problems do come out. So there you don't have a dearth of questions, or you don't have a dearth of areas to ask questions from. So second paper questions are of a very dynamic nature. They're entirely like GS questions. So the scope for repetitions is comparatively less in paper 2 as compared to paper 1, but that doesn't belittle the significance of the previous year questions. At least previous year questions हमें देखिले हमें जानी पाएगा कि first of all, are we comfortable with the sort of questions that are being asked in that optional subject? First of all, secondly, we can gauge our level of preparation. Okay. That given our level of preparation, how prepared are we to answer these questions which are asked in the UPSC examination itself? Third, as I said, questions do get repeated, so they will be. So we cannot belittle the significance of previous year questions. They are a cornerstone of preparation as far as UPSC is concerned, both for general studies as well as for optionals. And the main reason is not the questions getting repeated. You have to मतलब जैसे बोलते हैं ना नब्ज पकड़ना है यूपीएससी का कि कैसे क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाते हैं रियल एग्जाम में. But that's where you get the questions from. So instead of solving mock papers by any coaching institute, we can directly write and attempt the question papers of UPSC itself. So that's far better.
That's good. Okay. Sir, how to evaluate the marks? For example, we are writing the questions and we are practicing it. How do we evaluate? Like, is there any idea? Like, how do we know कि एटा UPSC को गले या OPSC board को गले हमको कितने marks मिले पावे इतने?
That will always be a conjecture. We can never guess what exact marks shall we fetch for this question. But yes, what we can do is, what I used to do is, I used to download the answer sheets of previous year toppers. For example, of any coaching institute, there are a lot of coaching institutes who make available the answer sheets of toppers of mock tests on their websites. So, for example, for an answer the topper has written, he or she has got 7 marks. You can attempt the same question, and then you can compare your answer with that of the topper. If you feel that you have written better than that guy, then you may expect 1 or 2 marks more than him. If you see that you have written an inferior answer as compared to the topper, then you may expect a few marks lower than what he or she has fetched. That's how it works.
So जो aspirants अचन से जितने ही परिवार से research करिबा कथा, they should explore multiple ways कि तांको preparation को आहुरी better केमते करे परिबे. They should always be open to a lot of ways. एमते कि static न था कि एटा ही strictly follow करो या से type. They should always explore कि आहुरी कितने better.
Yes.
Okay. Sir.
Yes, everyone has got a different strategy, and everyone should have a different strategy.
especially UPSC रे समझते ही पूरा unique personalities नांती जब हमें देखो almost everybody is a very unique personality. Sir जब GS paper हमें prepare करूँ जो first thing is that कि स्टूडेंट्स को गोटे प्रॉब्लम लगे किछि वर्ष रे हमरो करंट अफेयर्स टॉपिक बहुत आसी जाए आ किछि वर्ष रे एमता थे कि नहीं स्टैटिक पार्ट ही बहुत बेसी आस जाउचे सो हाउ वुड यू गाइड द स्टूडेंट्स की जदी से प्रिपेयर करूछंती करंट अफेयर्स को केते टाइम देबा कथा स्टैटिक पार्ट को केते देबा कथा
Actually, we can't make a distinction with regards to time. That would not be very pragmatic an approach. What we can essentially do is we can prepare a roadmap for preparation of current affairs as well as static portion. Not much emphasis is of late given to static portion. Much of the questions they are of a vague nature. They are of a very dynamic nature related to current events that are taking place around us. So a great deal of importance should actually be given to current affairs portion.
Okay.
First point. So what a decent strategy should look like for current affairs? We should read the newspaper daily. We should pick up one daily current affairs update if we can. I mean, for example, the people who are on job, they may not be able to do it daily. So that's optional for them. But if you can refer to a source, say for example, like Insights or for the matter anything which come up with a daily current affair update.
Okay.
So we may opt for that. And number 3, one current affairs monthly.
One current affairs monthly.
So the combination of these 3, or at least these 2, one newspaper and one monthly, they should suffice for current affairs preparation.
First thing, every month every day they should prepare it, and monthly compilation kale pura apan ko overall scope ta mil jibo ki what is the thing and how have we come about the particular thing.
Yes. Read the newspaper daily. Taki month end is a monthly compilation. When you get that, you don't feel as if you are having to make it by heart. Unless and until we follow the news daily, it would feel like as if we are given something to make it by heart.
Okay.
Semti no lagu. Ame jo gote jinsara jodi ame progress taku daily newspaper through re track rakhuche. If we are keeping track of the progress of something through daily newspaper reading, we would not feel that it's completely a new thing which we are having to simply memorize or learn. Yes.
Sir, what is the source?
So what will happen is that the monthly compilation will serve as a source of revision itself. You may opt to take your own notes out of that, but that in itself would be a revision. But if we simply take up the monthly compilation and make it our basic first reading of current affairs, that will work like a rote learning method. So read the newspaper and then supplement that with a current affairs monthly.
Okay. Sir, static part complete kariba pai what are the book lists that you followed, and what kind of book list can you recommend ki ye part ye jagaru complete kariba patha?
Okay. So let me start with polity. For polity, 98% of the candidates, they refer to Lakshmikant, so that's the basic book. You can also read Indian Constitution at Work. That's NCERT book for class 11th. For history, for ancient as well as medieval history and art and culture, we can refer to the Tamil Nadu State Board 11th class book, history book, which covers it in a very vivid detail. So that's a good book for that portion. For modern history, we can follow Spectrum, Brief History of Modern India. For the history of India after independence, since independence, we can follow a material of any coaching institute, because that's again an area from which much of the questions are not being asked of late.
Obviously.
So it's not worthwhile to invest a lot of your time in preparing the post-independent history. And that's an example of smart work, how you should be working smart as part of your preparation. So if you start reading a book like the Bipan Chandra for the history of India since independence, it would not be worthwhile to spend much of your time on that. So the cost benefit ratio would be huge.